I feel the cool breeze. It's such a lovely tease.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to our Posca paint party. I'm Maria Brophy. This is Drew Brophy. And today we are going to do what, Drew? What are we doing?
We are going to explore all the different kinds of ways that you can draw waves. And I'm going to give you some tips on how I've done it in the past and some things to think about so that you can create many different types of waves and give them different attitude, make them happy, make them sad, make them thick, or make them soft. So we're just going to play with that today, and hopefully it gets you making more dynamic paintings and gives you a little bit to think about and make you draw cooler waves. So that's what we're going to be doing today.
Awesome. Okay. And another thing we're going to be doing later after the hour is we are, as we always do, thanks to Posca, the company that makes these awesome paint pens, we are giving a pack of paint pens away. And I want to tell you who the winner was from last week. The winner from last week is Austin from New York, and he's already sent us his address. So Austin, your paint pens will ship tomorrow.
Yeah.
And I want to invite everybody to type in the chat where you are in the world today. And we are going to be inviting you if you want to share your work in about 20 minutes or so. So hit the raise hand button or just type in the chat that you want to share when you're ready, and we'll bring you on, we'll spotlight you. And of course, if you have any questions, ask in the chat and we will do our best to answer them.
Yeah, you know, for many of you, you already know this, but we really want this to be interactive. So if you have questions, ask, because other people are probably thinking the same thing. Sometimes I forget that things that I take so naturally that I might not be explaining it right. So yeah, I'm ready to paint and have some fun.
And I just want to say one more thing if I can.
Sure.
I'm really happy you're here. I really am. Like we have a lot of the same people that come back week after week, and I feel like we've built this nice little warm community of creative people on a wide range of talents and different styles and so forth. And we're just really happy you're here.
Yeah, and I like seeing the art when it's finished.
Yeah, we love seeing your art.
Yeah.
So, okay, I'm going to go back into the magic control room.
All right.
And you hit it.
All right. So we're going to wait for Maria to get to her computer so that she can show you some examples of what I'm talking about today. And, you know, really when I was a kid, I was just drawing waves on the top of my notebooks and kind of just doing them all the same. But as we all know, all the waves are different. And especially those of you who are surfers, you really know the difference between waves. And so you have real powerful waves and then real soft waves. You have all different little things that we can do to change it up and make them look different. So, honey, when you're ready, let's just go through some of the waves that that I picked for today.
Okay.
All right. So this picture right here is one of my famous paintings about chopu. And chopu is a slab wave. And so the reef is very shallow. And then the water just buckles over it. So you can see how it kind of goes down and reverses underneath into the tube. And it's really top heavy. So if any of you have seen this wave in real life, you can see how I've really exaggerated the features and, you know, really made it this big tube. And it has like multiple lips to it. So it kind of stacks up on itself. And it's one of the biggest, most dangerous waves in the world. So keep going, and then maybe the next one. Let's see if we can get this to work right today.
So it's always a crapshoot. Let's see. All right. Bear with me a second. And I'm going to go to this next one.
Okay, this is Sunrise, the other one of the other famous waves. And you can see how this wave is like really round and bubbly, almost like perfect, you know, like perfect glass. But you see how I have the ribs of the wave that give it that kind of the shape and whatnot. And then I have it lit a little bit different, but it's much different than the first wave. The other wave is more dangerous looking. This one's more perfect looking. Let's go next one.
Okay. Hang on. I'm just gonna have to stop share and start share every time to make it bring up the next ones, but hey, whatever works.
Believe it or not, this is the most difficulty we have is sharing these photos, which should be simple, but we got it figured out. So look, this is another wave. And so this is a wave kind of breaking towards you. It's kind of a smaller wave. And then you see how the waves like going off in the distance the other way. What I'm just trying to show you is the different ways you can stretch things out and make it look like it's going off into space, and then softer. And you can see like this has like the little bubbly things coming off of it, which is more like kind of fantasy versus real dangerous looking. Go to the next wave, please.
Okay.
But all these examples are just to kind of show you that they're all not the same. And, you know, when I'm doing these, depending on what type of attitude I want to give the painting, sometimes I might add like lots of characters. So like these characters, you can see this is kind of a side view looking from behind and the waves throwing out. And then also look at the waves on the background, kind of that typical kind of peak, but exaggerated. If anybody's familiar with the Great Wave of Kanagawa by Hokusai, which is that Japanese famous wave, it kind of has this shape to it, you know, from the side angle, if you're like looking at a wave like going by. And it's by adding characters to it. So you could either have characters having fun or characters being scared. It doesn't matter. But that really adds a lot to the painting as well. And you can see this also has those bubbly, fun water droplets. And I get that from when they have photographs of slow motion photography on waves. That's what the water's actually doing, is beating off like in these like little bubbly things. And I see that when I'm surfing in the tube. It's almost like that, like everything slows down. So let's go to the last one, which is, all right,
The
my
last
last one's my favorite one.
Let's,
And I have, of course, hundreds, if not thousands of these waves I've done. And, oh no, this is another one. So this is another kind of side view of it going sideways. But you can also see how, you know, I have like the little waves in the foreground, the waves in the background. You can see that wave in the sun has no black around it. So it's like kind of faded into the sun, which is kind of nice. If any of you have watched a sunset, it kind of gets all like yellow and sparkly and stuff like that. And this is actually from a real day of surfing, and my friend handed me a beer as I walked up the beach. It was like the best day ever. Maybe we'll paint this painting one day. All right, the last one should be one of my favorites.
okay, which one is the last one?
The Death Tube.
Ah, the death tube. Okay, yes. All right, give me a second.
So you guys will see, if you've ever seen some of my surfboards, sometimes I make flames on top of the waves instead of water, so it's like flaming. And then sometimes I will put like skulls or happy faces in the waves. So that always adds to it as well. So there's lots of things we can do in the white water, a lot of things that we can do in the color of the wave. You can make the wave blues or greens or whatnot. And are you finding that wave, honey?
I got it. Hang
You got
on
it.
a second.
One day we're going to have this picture thing figured out.
Yeah.
All right, so this is like a classic big giant round tube, and I have like my little screaming skulls on there. But this wave, you can see it almost has a lot of motion to it, like it's barreling over the water, and it's got the flamey, like scary looking white water, and then the screaming skulls like bouncing, like exploding. And, you know, all of this gives it that attitude of like more of a dangerous wave. Even the colors, the deeper blues and purples, you know, a lot of times the scarier waves I surf seem to have deeper colors to them. And this just happens naturally. I see somebody, Andrew, holding up a flame wave. I saw that. Yeah, hang loose. Life is good. So these are kind of just some examples, and I'm going to draw some more just to show you how I do this. But, you know, sometimes we can go back to full screen, honey. Thank you.
Yep.
And, you know, sometimes we're, you know, not every wave is like round like that. Sometimes it's more almond shaped. Sometimes it's mushy. So if you don't know what mushy means, it's just the water just kind of rolls on top. It doesn't actually throw. And so we're going to keep all those things in mind. And so if we can go to the top camera, and I'll get my pen and start going. And so today, you know, we're not going to do a complete painting. We're going to do a bunch of sketches and to kind of get you going so that you can practice these things. I'm sure a lot of you have already tried some of these things. But let's just go for the straightforward wave. And, you know, when I do a straightforward wave, I'm going to just work in one little spot so we can see a bunch of them. I kind of start out with like a V shape, you know, like almost like it looks like a, you know, something like this. And I imagine this is like a peak. And then from there, you know, I'm putting in these ribs. And this would be a sketch, you know, like whenever you're doing the sketch, it's just like a little map, right? So that's kind of like a peak wave and a left and right. And then I'd start adding, this would be the lip line, then I'd start adding the whitewater line, kind of like that. And keep in mind, I'm sketching with a Posca because it shows up, but you'd be doing this with pencil to get your idea out. Then I'm putting my bubbly, like little white waters on there, and I might put some out like this. And there again, just kind of loosely getting it in there to get the idea of what you're trying to do. This would be the back of the wave, kind of like this part's folding over. And then wherever it's splashing down, you know, usually what happens is the water splashes down and then it splashes back. So it's like, whoosh, and then I put this big splash mark here. Right, so that would be like straightforward, like you're coming, like looking at it like straight on like that. And then from there, you know, you might put a sun back there. You know, you might put some surfers in there. You might, you know, put a little boat over here, something like that, you know. I love playing with scale, you know, putting like a boat like in there would make it, the wave look gigantic. Or sometimes I might put like a shark swimming and, you know, he's like sitting there and like swimming by and he's smiling or whatever. So, you know, this is where the ideas are born in these like little rough sketches, right? And all of these things, like let's say this way, this was shaped like this, you could have like this be the underwater scene under here, and you might have an octopus or whatever, you know, down here in the bottom and lots of fish and things coming in. And maybe this stuff is like big, you know, so you have this like really big stuff down here, and then this is going further and further back, you know, something like that. My more traditional wave, let's see, is just like drawing one angle. So when we're doing like something like I'm a goofy foot, which means I have my left foot or my right foot forward. Is that right? Yeah. And most guys are regular foots, so they go the other way. But so I usually go left. And so I start out and like this was the lip line. That's where I always start, is with that lip line to get, that gives you the wave, the total attitude. So, you know, I'll go like this and something like that, kind of like a shape. And this is the lip line, the water that's folding over. So if you imagine this is kind of the flat space and the wave's coming up and folding over on itself. So from there, I do the white water. I usually do this pretty uniformly, you know, and this is just kind of like a spotted line like that. And now this one, I'm going to do like a flamier, like type of white water, you know, almost like the wind is blowing this off. And you can see how that gives it like a much more edgier look. And everything's exaggerated that I draw anyway. Something like this. So it kind of looks like flames coming off the back. And then, so there's two things I could do here. I could make it an almond shape, or I could make it a full round shape. Now, if I want to do a full round shape, I want to make sure that it does this next line is round. So I want to do it like that. And that gives it the shape. So the next one's going to be round too, and then round again, something like this. You know, this is kind of something I would paint going down a rail of a surfboard. And it's actually not very dynamic, this drawing. Compared to this one, this is pretty straightforward. And then maybe the white water's exploding and if this was like the foreground, I might have that white water exploding like forced perspective, something like this coming at you. You know, and you might have a little surfer, the nose of a surfboard coming out in there. Yeah. And this is like the flat part. And then, so you'd want that to turn something like that. So you can kind of see how that goes. And then maybe there, your sun's over here. You'd notice in a lot of my paintings, the suns are placed in spots where it complements the wave. You know, and that wave, that sunlight right there might be shining through here. So that would kind of like, you know, be in here, and those rays would be shining through like that, if you could imagine. And there again, this would just be the loose sketch before you paint to make your ideas more dynamic. All right, well, let's keep going. So these are some pretty good ideas of different ways you can draw waves, but there's plenty more. One of the best ones is that side view. And the side view is like, you know, if you were in the water with the wave. And that was more like that wedge painting. And feel free, if anybody's having any questions or anything, please ask them or we'll get to them. I'll just keep drawing. But the most important thing with that wedge type of side view is you're going to get this whole loop around. So almost like you're inside the wave. Something like this, right? And then the lip is falling down the top of the wave, and that might be coming like way down like this. And so that's that same curvature that I keep starting with. This is the lip, I call it the lip line. This is the water and any angle in which it's throwing. So I could make this rounder, or I could make it tighter. You know, it could be like just like that. You know, but you know, there's just all different ways we can do it. We could super exaggerate it, make it really tall, or not so tall. So from here, I'd go again and start with the white water. And the white water is the water that's basically looks white when it breaks, but it's the liberated water that's no longer attached to everything else. And I like the bubbly ones. And you can get crazy with these bubbles, like, you know, just, I like the sound effects. But with the sketch, you can have a lot of fun with this, and it'll give you the attitude that you're looking for. So from there, you imagine you're looking back, and you're back in this wave right here. And so you're back behind it, which is kind of neat. And then so we want to look like we're looking out like the wedge, and we want to look at the edge of the wave as going off in the distance like this. And so it's coming, something like this. And then we want to put the sun in there too. So I don't know when I first did this, but having the sun in there is pretty cool. And then you give the sun like attitude too. Like I can remember like making like this crazy sun with a mouth, and he's like, oh no. Something like this. And this is like adding attitude to the whole picture. Like all of a sudden, you know, the sun has teeth, something like this. But, you know, this makes your painting more dynamic. And then if we add surfers in there, so maybe we have a surfer here, like deep in the tube. And so he's bigger, right? And he's coming out, his foot's here. But you can see how I draw these things just like really loose. You know, his hair's going off in the background. He's pointing at the sun, but really trying to have fun. You know, really, I think that's the biggest thing to stress to everybody is come up with these funny things. And you can see how these loose sketches all of a sudden turn into like these little stories. And you could even put, you know, like a fish down here in the water, like looking up, like he's like sitting here. You know, see like a little fish peeking. You know, you could put his buddies like over here, like getting ready to get hammered, or maybe just his foot. Like you start to add things, and this guy's getting beat. So you get the idea on this one. I'm having a little too much fun. But this is always what I do first. So like for you guys who are, you know, trying to get something perfect right on the canvas, I really encourage you to have fun drawing and sketching. And I noticed like with the Pure Joy exercise last week, a lot of you made so many like cool characters, and you didn't really follow mine to the T. One guy did character as a skeleton. So that's what I mean by fun, you know, and then you can take all these ideas I give you and make your own stories and just really have fun. All right, so now let's go to another style of wave. And this one's going to be pretty rad.
Hey, Drew, before
Yes.
you get into that, I have a question from our good friend, Chris Hopkins, which I'm really happy to see you here, Chris. Chris wrote, "This is so awesome. Can you go into more detail on the front wave splash?" And he said he was loving the sound effects.
Yeah, thanks, Chris. Nice to see you here. On this front wave splash, I think he was talking about, you know, you just think of the water like splashing down, and that forced perspective of making it look like it's coming at you is really fun. And so you could kind of have this piece coming out, and, you know, if you saw that one sketch with the, or not the sketch, the painting with the screaming skulls, these guys could end up being like screaming skulls coming out of there, or happy faces, or in the case of the Chopu painting, it was like tiki faces. But, you know, all of this is just fun ideas that came to my mind while I was having fun sketching. And I think that's the most important point, is all of these ideas and different ways to draw waves came from having fun sketching and then seeing something funny or somebody saying something funny. And what if we add this? Or, you know, what if we make it a frog surfing? Or what if we make it, you know, a lizard surfing? What if the sun is, you know, spitting out fireballs, you know, boom, boom, boom. And there they come. And then they're, you know, they got eyeballs, you know. So it just starts growing into this funny and entertaining piece that has a story to it. So, so yeah, you know, sometimes I draw faces on the sun, and sometimes I don't. Sometimes I make the suns look like angry because they're always giving me a big sunburn, like yesterday when I surfed all day. And so I give them like, you know, these crazy faces. And that kind of sets the mood for the rest of the painting.
So Marcus has a good question. Do you have tips for drawing multiple waves rolling in sets?
Yeah, so I have lots of paintings that I've done that on. I'll do that now.
And then I'll just tell you the next question so you can maybe dovetail into it. Jamie wants to know, what is the simplest way to draw a wave?
Probably the simple. Well, I'll make a more simple wave than this side view one. I would say the side view one is probably the most common one, and I'll just do that now. If you imagine you're drawing a wave, and I used to do it at the top of my notebook paper. So imagine this is the top or the bottom, and you do that same shape, just that type of shape, and then you do the little half moons. And then you add the top of the wave, something like this. And then this is already part of the wave that is broken and dissipated, something like that. And then from there, you can just add like white water, you know, something like this. And if you choose to start dressing it up, then you can dress it up from there and add white water shooting off the top. But that's basically this top wave also. But that's pretty much what everybody starts drawing on the top of their paper. Another thing people just do is the classic, you know, side view, which is something like this, you know, which is kind of like the Quicksilver logo. Yeah, I'm watching the delay. It's pretty funny. So there we go. You can see it there. And that's basically this one, right? That's a simplified version of this one over here. And it's just, I've made it more dynamic. You know, so the sun was here, that wave broke there. So you're seeing all of that at once. So let's do the ones with sets. And hopefully that answers some questions. I can draw
Yeah.
waves
And
all
can we
day.
take a moment to go to Jim and let him share? He's got a couple he wants to share.
Sure.
Okay, Jim, unmute yourself and I'm going to spotlight you right now.
All right, guys. Well,
Hi.
welcome back and thank you again for the paint parties.
Yeah, good to see you.
Good,
Yeah, how's it going, Jim?
good, man. How about yourself?
Oh,
You might remember
good. That looks great.
the old Pacific Vibrations movie.
Yeah.
Going way back. Yeah, this is kind of a sketch from that movie back in the day. It was some killer, animation that they did.
That looks good.
So that's one. And then I did one that's a combination of airbrush and Posca pins. I did it on my guitar pick guard.
I'm fixing my screen. Let me see. Oh, yeah, that looks killer.
So I used the airbrush and the Posca pins and kind of created a fun little write that I just remixed.
And that's more of that classic straight on view that I was just saying, that like the one you do on your notebook.
Exactly, which I
That looks good.
drawn a million of, sitting on the beach, dream surfing it, So, yeah.
Yeah.
Again, thank you
It's
guys.
so fun doing waves, isn't it?
I love doing waves. Seeing as how I can't, I'm too far away from the beach right now to surf. I have to do something to get my surf fix. So drawing waves is what I'm always doing.
Well, you know what they say, if you want something to happen or if you want to end up somewhere, you got to first visualize it. And what better way to do it than to paint it, right?
There it is. Exactly.
Yeah. Well,
Surf's up.
thanks for
Thank you,
sharing.
guys.
Thank you.
Right on.
So we have another question. And before I read the question, I want to tell you it's from Evan the Artist. Evan the Artist is a very young but highly prolific artist. I follow him on Instagram and he is amazing. He's busting out like painted shoes and he probably does more work than most professional artists do, which blows my mind. So any of you that are on Instagram, follow Evan the Artist. You want to check him out. So Evan's question is, we joined while the video was already in progress, started drawing on our canvas to follow along. Should we get a new canvas to start our official work? So Evan, if you're new to our paint parties or somewhat new, basically it's pretty casual. So do whatever you feel like doing. That would be my answer. Drew?
Yeah, so today we're really coming up with ideas. So this is really a sketching exercise so that you can do your painting later. And I'm trying to show you the different ways that you can do a wave and give you some ideas so that you can really take the ideas and run. So this is more of a sketching idea. So paper might be good. And I would say do lots of sketches, fill up a bunch of pages full of ideas, and then take the best idea or a collaboration of those ideas and put them together onto the canvas and then paint. So let me do this multiple wave one so that I can answer that last question. And if anybody remembers being with Damian Fulton and Phil and all my other good friends of artists, and those who haven't, they really kind of showed us and something important that I do all the time and they do is this kind of line of action. And those lines really set you up to lay up your whole painting. So if you have multiple waves, the line of action might be something like this. And then the next line of action is this. And then the next line of action is this, let's say. And this would be the first wave, second wave, and third wave. So you can kind of already see them there. So then from there, I know where these waves are. And so the question was, how do you get multiple waves in there? And so I'm going to do my lip line on this one, kind of like that. And then I want this kind of being a more almond wave. So this is going to be like that, like that, like that. And then you kind of see it folding around. And then I'm going to do the top of the wave, kind of like that, like that, like that, like that. I'm not going to worry about the whitewater just yet. I'm going to focus on these waves. So this one is a little bit, this one's like fully broken here. So that means the wave has already collapsed on itself and there's going to be whitewater here. This one's going to be in the process of throwing over. So we want a little bit of shape, but not going all the way down. So we want to make this like little line, like that's kind of like the wave falling over. And then down that line of action, go that way. And then these lines would be, and these are just kind of like directional lines. That just shows you which way the water's kind of moving. And then the same thing kind of out like that. And then we do the top of the wave. It's throwing like this, something like that. You guys see that? And you see how those lines of action really show like what's happening. So then the third wave hadn't even broke yet. It's just a big swell. And I like to exaggerate it like it's a big lump of water, kind of like this. Look, and there's some dude paddling up it. Ah, he's going. Save me. He's up there. And then maybe the sun could be either, since all this is pointing this way, we could put the sun over here, or we could have put it right behind there. And then this is, you know, something like that. So that'd be a great setup for the sketch, right? And then I can start playing with it, and this would be the white water. But you see how that line of action sets up everything. And, you know, the line of action on all these would be that lip line. With the multiple waves, I kind of set up the top line each way. But then you could have done it any way you wanted. This was a good setup right here, but I could have just as easy made them go the other way or made them taller. And I could actually even have like a mega wave out here. Like, look, it's like coming. It's going to jump up. The same idea could be, let me go to this other one. You know, kind of getting on that idea of the Great Wave of Kanagawa. You know, it's a side view. So you'd kind of set up this line like this, right? And then the waves in front aren't really waves, they're just kind of like these types of things, right? And then maybe there's waves like off in the distance. So those waves are further away, maybe a far one there. And imagine this is just all sketching real loose. So I don't want anybody to be like really tight. This would be with your pencil, just having fun. And you know, what's neat about that Great Wave of Kanagawa is they got like some guys in a boat, you know, and they're in the middle of this, like, oh my gosh, you know, they're in this boat and there's this giant wave coming. And, you know, and all these waves are kind of like blowing, and they got the Japanese like claw style. If you ever seen this wave, they got these like kind of claw looking things. And that's how he interpreted the whitewater. It must have been really windy and violent. And it's a super famous painting. And so all these are doing that same thing. And I think Mount Fuji's in the background, something like this. I'm just going off of memory. I wonder how close I'm getting.
I'm looking for a picture of it, a good photo of it right now that I could.
That'd be good. So, you know, this is the wave or the mountain in the background, and these poor fishermen are stuck in this this giant storm. But you can see how the attitude of this is just kind of having fun. And then once you get this sketch, then you can, from there, make it your own and make a more detailed drawing for your painting. Oh, that looks pretty good. I think it actually pitches a little bit more. I really like the questions that might help me come up with some more ideas. And, but that's kind of like the Great Wave of Kanagawa, something similar to that.
Okay, I'm gonna share my screen and see if I can just show this.
Yeah, let's see it.
I have. All right, let's see if this works.
There it is.
Yeah.
Hey, I got pretty close. I made the wave bigger, the boat smaller, and the mountain giant. And it must have been a wintertime scene with snow on it, because you can see snow on the mountain, and you see all the and I think this was a wood block print, actually.
How old is this piece of art? Do we know?
Hundreds and hundreds of years old, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, it's a very old painting.
Awesome.
But yeah, that's a great depiction of a wave, and you can see this rough water like all around, and then the wave breaking. And this wave is very different than the way I draw waves, which that's what I really like when you start looking around at how different waves, what they look like. All right, moving on. So hopefully everybody's having fun. I really want to hear some questions and maybe share what you're working on, so maybe I can have some ideas. I'm going to start getting into some real fantastic things I do with the waves. You know, I'm going to, a lot of you know that I'm into, you know, I love ocean and I love the sun, and I started getting into a lot of physics and astronomy. And so I started adding like super cool variations of waves, because everything's traveling in waves. Light's traveling in waves, and sounds traveling in waves, and waves are actually like spirals. One of the things that a lot of people don't realize is the water's not really moving. The wave that was generated in New Zealand, let's say, and traveled all the way to California, did not move. That water did not move. It's the energy within it. And it's just a very fascinating thing to think about. And then that's the actual energies moving the water along the shoreline. That water did not come from somewhere very far away. So with that concept, I started drawing. Let's go with the lip line again. Well, I'm going to do the line of action first. And I'm going to start with like a sun. And I've done this in my, honey, see if you can find the galaxy wave of mine.
Okay.
And so let's say that's the sun. And then I get that line of action. The line of action is something like this, let's say. And that would be the wave. This is going to be the line of action for the wave. And then I get the lip line, and the lip line is here, and goes something like this. Then I'm going to take the top of the wave and add where I put the white water, something like this. And then what I want to do is get the top of the wave, which is something like this. And then I'm fading it out this way. And then all of a sudden I started pulling the wave apart and turning into like little water drops. But this is very similar to some of the things where I've gone with drawing waves and fantasizing about how it travels. And, you know, when I look at waves in the ocean, you're literally like riding the heartbeat of the planet. It's just such a cool thing.
You want me to bring up Galaxy Wave now?
Yeah, that'd be great.
Okay. This was actually, I can't find the actual painting, but this is like the reproduction of it on a t-shirt, which is.
Yeah.
Is this what you were talking about?
Yep. And this really shows you like how having fun sketching and fantasizing, you know, how crazy the wave can get. So that wave's really cool looking, and it's tied together with the sun. And that's just me imagining, you know, what the sun is doing and how it's affecting the atmosphere and the water on this planet. And that's what I came up with, just lots of just, you know, bursts of energy from the sun, and then that's creating those waves. And that's kind of what I'm drawing here. So let's go back to here. Thanks, honey. Mm-hmm. You know, and I can start drawing from there, this fun kind of thing here. The sun can just start doing stuff. And then now this gets like kind of, there's no horizon. It's kind of like just the sun and the wave. And then so this like light could be shooting over here, and then this is like a sunball there shooting out like a coronal mass ejection. But you can see how this could just be a fun exercise. Maybe you have a little spaceship in there shooting out. Maybe there's some flying fish coming out of here, and that flying fish is getting bigger as they fly out. But this gets back to some of the other lessons where I tell you, you know, just think of like, you know, the craziest thing and throw it in there, and all of a sudden it becomes part of it. And it's all energy. And that's kind of what the neat thing is about what I'm showing with the wave today, because the wave's like this energetic, phenomenon, and you want to capture that energy. And the Great Wave of Kanagawa really does that. It really catches that energy. And then like these ones really kind of catch that flow. And then when you have characterized the sun, it gives it like a sense of like, oh my, this is more pretty. And then like these guys, have a lot of energy too. So I guess the lesson is really trying to get energy and, flair into some of these ideas, and give your waves personality. So
okay, so we have a bunch of people that want to share.
Oh, please do.
And we also have a couple questions. So I thought maybe we could share a couple now,
Okay.
get to the questions, and then share more. So,
Who's first?
okay. I'm going to go to Chris Hopkins, and then I'm going to go to CJ, and then I'm going to go to Jocelyn, and then we'll get to more people, but I'm just letting you know so you're ready to show your art, and we're just going to move through it quickly. But just so you know, Drew, Helen wanted to know if you could show us how to do a view through the tube. So maybe you could do that next.
Yeah.
And then Galaxy J7 was curious about whitewater style waves.
Okay.
So, let's go to Chris right now. Chris, I'm going to ask you to unmute yourself, and we're going to spotlight you. Hey.
Okay.
Hey, what's up, Chris?
Hey, can you hear me all right?
Yeah, I love your wave behind you. Look at that.
Thanks. So that's, I just spray painted that with a navy blue on a giant canvas, and I did just white on it. I thought it'd just be kind of a cool reversal to highlight the drawing part to it. And this is all golden ratio. This is the golden ratio spiral up in the, kind of in the upper left quadrant where it comes together. So, but I was loving everything you were saying about energy and the spiral. I was like, oh yeah, I can't wait to show this. So this is exactly all that stuff you're talking about.
Yeah. So man, I'm so stoked to see it. We got to do a whole class, just me and you.
Yeah. You know what, Chris, you and I need to talk like tomorrow or something, because I have some ideas.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. And
thanks for sharing that.
That piece is just so good. And do it when we were doing some of the Flower of Life and Golden Ratio stuff. I would have loved to have your input on that. And so it'd be good to have just a whole nother class talking about these things. I know it'll give all these artists a leg up and a better understanding of composition and why certain things look good.
Yep.
Oh yeah. Well, and that's the key. You were hitting it on the button when you said have fun with it. You use this stuff as a guide, but just make sure you're still having fun with it, because that's what comes through.
Yeah. Awesome.
Right on, Chris.
Thank you.
I look forward to hanging out with you again.
Awesome.
Great.
Thanks, guys.
Yeah.
Thanks. Okay, we're going to go hop over to CJ French in Japan.
Hey,
Hi.
CJ.
Hi, I don't know if you can see this or not, but I do a lot of sketches digitally.
Oh, that looks great. Yeah, I can see it.
This is just kind of playing around, and then I've been kind of feeling under the weather, so my husband told me I made my octopus look super sleepy.
Yeah.
But I think one of my favorite ones I've been working on, I'm working on a logo for a company, but
Oh yeah, like the sunglasses.
Yeah, the front view is awesome. I think the sound effects are vital to make like waves happen. I completely agree with that. But as a request, I love the suns that you do. So in the future, doing some of the suns, because you add personality to the wave, and I've noticed your personality for the sun and the wave are they complement each other really well. So it would be cool to also have like sun personality, how you change the rays. Some are bubbly, some are fiery.
Yeah.
So it'd be cool to see.
We could probably do a whole thing on the suns. And so you finding all this helpful, like just all this different.
Oh yeah. I could sketch waves for every day of my life and never be bored of it. So like I'm sitting here just like throwing stuff on paper as much as I can, It's awesome to have these paint parties again. So
Thank
Good.
you.
really
We're
enjoying
happy
it.
to see
Thank
you.
you.
Thanks, CJ. I'm stoked you're here.
Thanks.
All right, now we're
Right
gonna
on.
hop over and say hi to Jocelyn. Hi.
Hey, Jocelyn.
Show us what you're doing.
I painted a shell and
Oh, cool.
it's like someone like went too high on the cliff or something and like flipped over and
Yeah, we call that getting pitched. Yeah. So what do you, you're painting on a shell? That's a great thing to paint on. You got a bunch of those?
not that much.
Not that much. Are you having fun? Yeah. All right. Well, thank you for showing us.
Jocelyn. We really appreciate you being here. Okay, let's go to one more person before we switch back to you, if that's all right.
Yeah,
We're gonna
that was a
go
great
to-
idea, painting on a shell.
I know, it always is, right? Glossia, we are gonna come to you next. And I'm asking you to unmute. There we go.
Okay.
Hello.
Hi.
Nice
Okay,
to
let
see
me-
See you
you.
again. There
Yeah,
we
nice to see you guys.
Yeah. So what you
So
working
great to
on?
have this again. Right now, can you tell? I don't think
Oh,
you
yeah.
can tell.
Oh, you got, is that octopus going?
Yeah, it will eventually become one.
Yeah.
So,
Good.
yeah, what I wanted to show you is some waves, since that's the theme. So
Yeah.
this is the last I finished. And this one is gonna go to your way to Lake California.
Oh, wow. That's awesome. Lots of waves.
Yeah. And those are all dots too. So if I'm getting close, it's kind of hard to see.
Yeah, no, I can see it good. It's those lineup shots of those point breaks are amazing.
You'll see if you can see the whole board, but it's
Yeah.
hard because it's dark.
No, I can see it good. So you're still working on it a little bit?
No, this one is done. It's just
done?
hard to see because it's so dark, but I'm gonna go from the bottom up so you guys can see it better.
Oh,
But
yeah, you got the kelp,
yeah, and then
and
we
the
got
turtle. Oh, I can see it now. And then a seal. Oh, it's just so nice. It's nice how it's receding in space, and you got the birds.
yeah. So that's that. And then this one is probably the second one that I did. And it also has a big wave in there. It's kind of like similar. See if I can get that.
Oh, wow.
And that's a crazy wave there.
Yeah, I like how you have the pattern in the wave. That's a good style. And the circle
Yeah, I
looks
was trying
cool.
that out.
It's all silhouetted.
Thanks.
And
Yeah.
you know, I love how you did the water. The white water just looks so rad.
And honestly, I've tried to do it again, and it's kind of hard. I need to figure out how I got it done
hard to
before.
repeat it.
But there's some sharks.
Oh
in the
yeah, and you got
bottom.
sharks down here.
Yeah. So
Oh,
it's
good
kind of hard to
job.
show, but thank you.
I
Yeah.
like how you have your own deal going, your own style, and good luck with that octopus. Those suckers are monotonous.
No.
Yeah, I'm going like little bit by little bit, trying to get some skin-looking thing going, but we'll see. It'll be a
Somebody
while.
should count how many suckers an octopus actually has. It'd be
Sure, it depends on how big they are.
I'll tell you what. Sometimes I've started painting octopuses, and I wish I hadn't. I'm like, oh my gosh, if I have to do another sucker on this thing. But have fun.
Okay, so do you want to do like a view from the tube or whitewater or something, and then we'll go back to Marion again in a little
So
bit? We technically we have 10 minutes left. We'll probably go over a little bit because we still have a lot of people that want to share.
Sure. So why don't we do the whitewater first, because that would be kind of a neat thing to show. And so, you know, when you're thinking about whitewater, yeah, I love how she had her whitewater just done in blue, and you could see it, and it looked real realistic. I like that. For me, I kind of add, like, depending on what type of whitewater I want, I do like these happy bubbles, and I don't try to make them like perfectly round. I don't try to do that. I try to purposely kind of make them funky looking. And there again, I do it with the sketch. So let's say I did like all this white water, and I just kind of like did them like funky. And sometimes I'll put like a little splash in there, you know, And there again, really loose. And then when I come back to actually draw it, I find the lines that I like. So, and this goes for everything, not just whitewater, but sometimes when I just go and be real loose with the chaos, then I can come back and you can see how I'm outlining it. And I'm just finding the things that I like and then trying to eliminate the things that look unnatural, that kind of stuff. I add to it a little bit. And this is kind of that more bubbly type of whitewater. But you can see how that starts to look kind of real natural. And then you could kind of exaggerate some of these things or add a lot. So in reality, when you look at these slow motion pictures of waves in the whitewater, it is just tons of little droplets. And it has the appearance of it being like solid, but it's actually like a bunch of little droplets. And since I surf all the time, I notice this instantly. One little droplet just feels like a little bit of spray, but a whole bunch of these droplets feel like a Mack truck when they hit you. So you can kind of see, you know, how that is. And it's just very chaotic and not very uniform. Now, if you wanted to create something very uniform and almost like graphic, you might have something more uniform, but that would be like kind of a different thing, you know, if you had it like that. So there's no real wrong way. It's just what different ideas can we do. So like, let's say I was going to do this whole thing again and I wanted to add a bunch of stuff in there. So I got this like jumble of like just all this stuff. Then I'll come in and like, let's say I want to put skulls in there. So let's use orange so you can see it. And I'm like, oh, where do I see a skull? This looks like a skull here. And that looks like a skull. And I'll start drawing eyes on all these little whitewaters, let's say. And sometimes they're not fully formed. They're just like little slits. Like the whitewater hasn't woken up into a skull, let's say. And then from there, I might come and really start drawing it. And hopefully you kind of get this idea of like, okay, you can make this any way you want. And then next thing you know is you have these little skull faces in there. And this could be real subtle just with color, like where you barely even notice it. Or let's say we're going to do something and, you know, the more fiery looking whitewater. And that's when it gets like that, you know, when I'm doing this like really stretched out on top of the wave, like I'm doing here. And this is almost just mimicking that the wind is blowing that way and the waves throwing this way. And so like all this is getting water getting blown off. Now that doesn't mean you still can't have like little strings of bubbles coming off, but you'd more likely have like little like flamey strips of stuff. So usually it's pretty consistent. Like if I do like these flamey looking guys, I don't really do the bubble guys and vice versa. But I super exaggerate everything. Just typically with whitewater, you can just do like just color and just very light do it. So, you know, some waves, like that first wave we saw was very light. Sometimes I call it baby pipeline. I do these like little baby pipeline bubbles and they're like, you know, little happy whitewaters. Instead of the skulls, it's like the opposite. Maybe it's just like a little face like that, and I put little faces in them. Maybe it's a liberated whitewater, so he's like a super happy, and I put like a, you know, face like that on him or something, and he's like something like that. And he's shooting out. I did this design for a wakeboard company called the Mini Squirt. And I just imagined like little pieces of water being liberated from the hole and they were like screaming for joy. And it was really funny, the Mini Squirt. But you can see kind of that too. So I'm kind of animating the water there, and instead of skulls, it's just like little happy faces. And really just the motion. If we look at, which one? These ones, you know, really that motion of the water's like coming down and hitting there, and then the water's splashing. So that's why I always try to get that splash effect. And this is just adding so much energy, you know, and this could get really big, like it's coming right off the page here, you know, something like that. And that forced perspective really just gives it a lot of energy. And then this could be the opposite, like it's receding in space, like off into, you know, like that. So hopefully that helps. The whitewater, you know, just imagine the things that are up close, like these are really sharp, and then it gets, you know, more, what's the best word to use? It's just kind of more light in the background. So, you know, sharp stuff here, more blurred stuff back here would be the best way to describe it. All right. So I think that's enough on whitewater.
Okay, can we take a break for a minute and
Yes.
have a couple people share? And really, we only have like, it's almost the top of the hour. So let's let a couple people share, then we'll come back to you, and then we'll get to more people. So
Okay.
what I want to do is go to Dubs, our good buddy Dubs, and then we're going to go to Heather, and then we're going to go to Santino.
All right.
We'll get to Jody. All right. So Dubs, you need to unmute yourself, and just if we can move through everybody quickly, just have your work ready to show.
Dubs.
What's up?
Hey!
Dubs? Look at that. Yeah.
What's up, you guys?
Oh, wow. Look at
My
this.
barrel A-frame. All with my Poscas, man.
Look at that. That looks cool.
Cool, right? Yeah, good detail.
You're having fun with that black marker.
Oh, heck yeah, man. I love it.
Yeah.
Really
Yeah.
good.
So it's
Thank
just,
you.
it's cool. It looks like it's like really heavy, almost like it's a wave of rocks.
Yeah, man.
You know, it's like, and I think
Yeah.
that's what's really, really interesting. Like when you're freed up and you're just kind of doing your thing. And
Yeah.
Dubs, I'm really impressed at how you kind of just have your own style going.
Yeah.
None of that.
It's nice.
Handle sketchy.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Great. Cool.
Nice to see you, Dubs. I hope you're doing
Yeah,
well,
good to
brother.
see
Yeah, you guys. God bless you guys. All right.
Thank you.
See you later.
All right, we're going to go to Santino. Santino, if you could unmute. You're Santino?
Did we
Okay.
lose Santino?
Hi.
He might have
Oh,
low.
I hear him. There he is.
The Wi-Fi is a little rough. Hi, Santino. Good to see you.
Yeah, it's pretty rough. And I've been doing like a lot of sketches, and like while sketching, I came up like, I don't know if you can see, but it's with pencil, but like with a
Can't really see
scorpion.
that. It's a little dark in there.
Yeah, turn it a little bit.
Well, I did kind of like it's kind of like a scorpion.
Yeah.
Like the bubbles of the wave, I turned them into a scorpion. And then I did another sketch when I turned those bubbles you make like for that wave into like the spiral.
Yeah.
And like, I don't know, that spiral could go into something and produce like a light or something. But I did some pretty cool sketches. Yeah, it was very good class. Really liked it.
Yeah, and it's so fun, Santino. You know, you've done a great job with everything you've painted, and all the magic happens in the sketch. So you're really learning that. So just fill up that sketchbook, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, there you go.
Can you see that?
A little bit.
It's really hard.
Yeah,
to
I can see it. I can see it. And then-
Awesome.
And you know, you pick out your best ideas to paint out of the sketchbook.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah, I filled the whole.
Yeah, we're losing you.
We lost you.
I love seeing
Finished it.
everything
I
you're
finished the
working on,
book.
Santino.
All right, let's go say hi to Jody. Here we go. Jody, are you ready?
Hey, Jody.
Hi guys.
Hi there. How
Whoa,
are
look at that. That is cool.
I just have a little mini canvas with me. I'm here in California right now.
All right.
So I don't have a lot of supplies, but I did bring my Poscas. And
Good.
so,
Don't travel without them.
yep. And so I have a surfing musubi.
Oh yeah. I love the wave. I just love how you got it curled in on itself.
Thank you.
Kind of like a nice flow to it, and yeah, good job.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Thanks, Jody. I want to go to Heather, but I don't know that she's there. Oh, Heather, there we go. Okay, remember, we're going to go to Heather. Here we go.
Hey, how's it going?
Hi, I'm Heather Puche's daughter.
Oh, cool.
I wanted to share the drawing of waves.
Oh, there you go.
Can you hold it up a little more?
There we go.
Perfect.
You got some palm trees, some waves. You're spiraling around the sun. So you having fun?
Having fun? Yeah.
Yeah, having fun. All right. Well, hopefully all this was helpful, and just let your imagination go and have fun painting.
Okay.
All right.
Cute. Good job, Tiki.
Okay, so let's do one more because she's very anxious. Andina.
Andina. I was wondering if Andina was there.
Hi.
Hey, Andina. So what are you doing in there?
Hi.
Show us what you're working on.
I'm not doing what you said we should do. I'm doing like the yin yang here.
Oh, yeah. And you got some flowers around it, or what else is there? I lost you for a second. I can see 2 paintings.
Sorry, Andina. All right, you know what? We're going to go to Evan, the artist. Evan, we're asking you to unmute yourself, and then we're going to spotlight you. There we go. Hi.
What's up, Evan?
Good to see you. I've been following you on Instagram for a long time. I feel like I know you really, really well. You do some great work.
How's the drawing going?
Show us what you're working on.
Not my best work, but this is like all I did.
Oh, that looks great. What, are you kidding me? Look at that wave.
Love it.
And then I messed up because I did sketch, and then I had to erase it.
That's all right. Sometimes I paint over paintings. If I don't like something, I'll just paint over it.
I thought I was doing it on canvas, but then I saw it on paper. So then I had to erase it here because I thought this is where my artwork was going to be. and I take art classes, so I can't waste my canvas.
Yeah. No,
Okay.
that's good. I like it.
Evan's mom. Can I share mine too?
Yeah, sure, please.
Absolutely.
Maria, there we go. Look at Mom go.
Wow, now we know where Evan gets it.
Look at the little
Now we know.
Thank you. I can't do it on a shoe, but a little bit of this. Thanks for doing this, guys. This is really, really.
Yeah, nice to see you. And Evan, I keep going on that painting. I love the wave. And your surfer looks crazy. He looks like some of the guys I saw out surfing yesterday. Everybody was out surfing, and you know, there was about 100 people out. So you can just imagine all the crazy people. And some guys surfed really good, and then some guys were getting like hit by the waves, and there was kids and old men like me, and it was amazing. I can't wait to see it done.
Okay, now we're gonna let's go to Nick Lewis. Nick, if you're ready, you had posted in the chat. I'm gonna spotlight you. There you are. Hey, how you doing?
Hey, what's going on?
Yeah.
What's up, Drew?
What's up, man?
Good to see you, man. Good. So I think I showed you a mini one that I did.
Oh wow, that looks rad.
I'm working on this. So I got the guitars with like the sun rays. They're like guitars, and then the Rolling Stone lips.
Yeah, and the tongue.
For like the lip of the wave. Yeah.
That's gonna be fantastic, man. Good job.
Those colors remind me of sherbet ice cream. That's what I think of when I look at those colors.
Yeah, it's super bright.
Cool.
Yeah.
Well, thank you.
Hey, thanks for all the inspiration, Drew. Love that you guys are doing your guys' paint nights again. Super stoked to be back. Looks like you guys had fun on a trip. Hopefully I'll come down to the studio once all this COVID stuff slows down, and maybe we could paint together again.
Yeah, everybody's welcome here, and I'm just happy to see everybody, and I think it's cool that, that we all can get together and get, you know, because it's easy not to start drawing, and after you start drawing, you're so happy you did, and you feel better. And
okay. So we're going to go to one more person.
Sure.
This is the last person, I think. And if we missed you, you just have to come back next week. We're going to go to Callie Bruck. You have to unmute yourself. And here we go.
Oh,
hello.
Hey. How's it going? What are you working on?
I'm working on this box that I've had forever, but I just drew on it with marker and it looked terrible, so I painted over it. And I painted a sunset with the puppy on this side, then I painted just at night with the puppy on this side.
Oh, that's a great idea.
Love
it. You having fun painting with us?
Yes.
Yeah. Well, thanks for joining us. We're going to be doing something different every week. So hopefully all together, it helps you come up with ideas, maybe learn some new tricks. And God, today went really fast.
It did go fast.
Hopefully everybody just got
all the questions.
Did we get them all? I hope so.
But one thing I want to ask everybody to do is please type in the chat if there's anything you want, if there's a theme that you want us to cover next time, let us know. And we will, you know, we're always looking for ideas or what it is that you want to know. So type it in the chat. Okay, Nick Lewis said blending. Jamie said animals. Keone said surfboards. Santino said surfboards. I think the surfboards thing would be something kind of special we'd have to do. Octopuses, people. Okay, I love it. Everybody's people are putting a lot of really good ideas in here. Trees. Mary Lee said mushrooms. Yeah, we did mushrooms on 420, and that was really fun.
We could do mushrooms again. You know, for all of you that are hoping to do a surfboard, that's going to be a more in-depth class, and you guys would love to see what's going on in my next room. I'm painting boards for lots of pro surfers, and I got lots of them over there. And you know, maybe we'll do a guest spot with one of the pros and paint his board. And so I'm working on that. That might be a little bit different format than this right here, but we're going to try to do that.
That would be fun. Well, thank you for being here, everybody. We're doing this again next week. What are we doing next week?
I'm not sure.
We decided, and now I can't remember. Well, anyway, you know, I'll email you. You should be on our email list. And also you can go to brophyartacademy.com, click on the events tab, and I'm constantly adding our online events and what I update what the theme is. And we also are having a few small live events. If you're in Southern California, look on our events page and you can attend that as well.
Yeah, and I really want to thank Posca. You know, Posca's been supporting not just me, but artists all over the place during this difficult time. And I wouldn't be able to do it without them. And like I said, I've been using these pens for over 30 years now. And this is what's allowed me to become a successful artist. And I think it's the easiest and best way to learn to paint. And so hopefully we can do more of these and have a lot of fun. And we'll see you next week.
See you next week. Bye, everybody.
Bye.